let's get into the Starfield stuff because this is a game that obviously is something special. It is special on so many levels that we can spend 35, 40 minutes just talking about how special it is. And that is just removing any of the nonsense conversation about, it being a 7 out of 10. It's not a 7 out of 10, folks. This game is special. It is a special Bethesda game from start to finish. It is probably one of the best new game plus titles ever released because of the variety of what you can get. I know of people that in this community that have beaten it 10 times, and each time they've beaten it, some of the stuff and again, I won't spoil it for you. Some of the things that I have heard on how it turns out, how it starts, is so monumentally different from the initial playthrough that it's mind numbing how incredible this stuff is. Well, we obviously had the update with the X, I believe, is it the X8 or the X6 buggy? Now you can fly because obviously the thing has jets. You can shoot because you can upgrade it. It has guns. You can even drive on water because it's amphibious, which is dope. I see a lot of people using it. Shout out to Ham Solo. He was flying around and shooting up a bunch of people. I haven't played it yet. I downloaded the update, but I can't get into too many big games. I'm just right now enjoying a very old game in Alien Isolation. I'll get to Starfield eventually, but obviously the update is the update, and somebody has already made a warthog, which is dope. So you can go and you can download the warthog in your creations, and well, now you're driving a warthog. This community, when it comes to what they do for Bethesda, is just, it's unmatched, man. They just do such amazing things. But obviously, Gamescom was a big reveal for a lot of things, and I want to thank Cami or Okami 13 underscore on Twitter. There were a lot of people that put posts out, but I like Okami. He's a good dude, and he's content creator like myself and many people on this panel. And he put a real quick bullet point of what's happening for Shattered Space. And I got to tell you, folks, it almost seems, based on the information, we're gonna go over it, almost like its own thing. Yes, it's part of Starfield. Yes, your character that you have, or your characters that you have, are going to be a part of it. Great. But the way that it's being broken down here sounds super special, like really, really something cool. So here are the details. And once again, shout out to Okami 13 underscore on Twitter. He says this: Shattered Space is going to have a sci-fi horror vibes comparable to Fear. Holy shit, are you kidding me? Yes, yes, and yes, please. Combat intensive with bigger focus on close quarter action. Oh my God, yes. Self-contained plots on a handcrafted location, which means that this is going to be a looker. It's again handcrafted, meaning that it's what you're going to get. There's no procedurally generated stuff like Starfield is on some of the planets. This is being made for this DLC. This is going to be special. It says here you get a chance to visit the homeworld of House Varun, where space has literally shattered. The planet has more alien feel. The atmosphere is comparable once again to Fear, and it's releasing this year, September 30th, on Xbox and PC for $30. Sign me up. I'm take my money, please. This is exciting, Fuzzy. Again, for a game that a lot of people poo-pooed, a lot of people had some very disingenuous takes for a lot of reasons that weren't about gaming, that were just about personal agendas and biases. And of course, this is where the hashtag Xbox tax comes into play. It is unbelievable that this game is going to be a year old, but to celebrate that year old this September, you're getting a new DLC that seems like like I know that when you talk about DLC specifically for Bethesda, a lot of people use the Far Harbor for Fallout 4 as like the shit. I have never played that DLC. I gotta play it. I want to play it before I play this because apparently it's that good. This is from what people have told me about Far Harbor. That is what this new DLC sounds like. I love the fact that it is going to be handcrafted. It's going to be a tight narrative, and that gives them the team an opportunity to really put the screws, so to speak, to how this game is going to look. I think it's going to look probably the best thing on Xbox, just based on the fact that you don't have to have procedurally generated planets and aliens and characters. This is the game. This is the DLC. What are your thoughts on the reveal?
As far as the reveal, it's pretty much everything we've all been asking for as far as additional content, and to have the vehicles just prior to the release of that gives us time to get used to how they act and traverse over the ground as well as through water and things like that. As far as like being an amphibious vehicle and stuff, I think the big thing now is this will hopefully give some insight to both the modders out there that are looking to make like their own little storylines and things, which I think there's one now that's kind of like a puzzle based one called The Escape or something like that. So seeing that these handcrafted um, expansions can be built, and we already know that they're working on another one shortly after this one. Hopefully it's in a year's time, maybe a little bit longer, give or take, but I'm looking forward to it just because the House of Varun was one of those few factions that you would come across that you couldn't join, and having being able to interact with Andreja and go through different missions was a different approach in comparison to like Sarah and the rest of the crew and stuff. So looking forward to it, but I think the big thing now is that all of these updates just prior to this expansion, like you have 60 frames on the Series S. Like people before were like, oh, it's a potato, it's holding back gaming, and yet this game or that console can, play this game in 60 frames, which is an accomplishment in and of itself. To have it where, this even with the procedural generation and stuff, to have a game that this large that you can, have a focus on one planet for a storyline, and there's not necessarily millions, but there's like I think 1,000 planets or something like that in the current solar system that we're able to explore and stuff along those lines. So that gives you the opportunity to write nearly 1,000 new stories and things like that from a modder standpoint. But just everything I saw from the unveiling of the vehicle to more of the screenshots and things like that for, or not screenshots, but like some of the scenery for Shattered Space. Yeah, I right now Diablo is the go-to game, but it's going to get put down by the end of September because of this. So definitely waiting or kind of trying to space out how I play these games. Like Division is on the back burner until we hear either Division 3 or until I feel like going back to it.
I feel like the Ubisoft is messing that up, but that's enough for another podcast. Yeah.
No, but yeah, Starfield. Even for those that want to still say it's a 7 out of 10, this has got to be the most popular 7 out of 10 game in the history of gaming. Like, I don't think there's ever been a game that's gotten that low of a score that's on everybody's, lips kind of thing. So I don't know. It must be something special for this to be a 7 out of 10. I mean, if it was an 8 or a 9 out of 10, I think we'd be hearing about how the economy is tanking because everybody's productivity at work is in the toilet because they were staying up late to play this game still. So, but 7 out of 10, I'll take it. It's been a blast to play, and it's like I said before, it may not be your generational game, but 10 years from now, there'll still be people like myself still playing this and trying out different mods and things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to September 30th.
I mean, listen, what they've done with this post-launch, you have to admit, is what people expect from Bethesda. The mod support has been nothing short of astounding. The content that is available for you, the you can go and look for and get for free, by the way, is just limitless. It is so much out there that you could make this into a literal Star Wars game, and it could never again look like a Starfield game. It's unbelievable, and they allow you to do that within the game, and on console no less. You know, you say we're on PC, you're like, yeah, well, PC, that's what PC does. But to be able to do this on console where there's every mod you could possibly imagine, it's pretty impressive. And what I love about this DLC that's dropping on September 30th, Korkenstein, is that it's this self-contained story within the overall story of Starfield. And I like the fact that when they specifically made mention of it, and they focused on the handcrafted aspect of this development. I think that's going to be a really big deal, because as great as Starfield looks, and it looks, I mean, look at the screen, folks. This is 1080p that you're getting, and it is what it is. You know, with the software I have. But you got to admit, when you put this on your TV, and you got a powerful TV like I have, it's stunning to look at, regardless of how many people want to pile on it. But when you start saying, well, this is a self-contained planet, it's a self-contained story, everything is handcrafted, meaning the creatures you're going to see, meaning the NPCs you're going to go up against. I freaking love it. The House of Varun is we don't know much about it, and I think that starting there is a really big deal. Again, shout out to Okami 13 for putting this out there, because again, this is all the information that's come out of Gamescom 2024, and I gotta say, I absolutely love it. Now, there's some people in here saying that they wish that it was part of Game Pass. You still get the 10% discount, I believe. So it's probably going to be $27 for you if you have Game Pass. I mean, I don't mind paying for games. This is additional content. Yes, I'll gladly give them my money, because that's what you want. That's what happens with these single player games like Fallout, like Elder Scrolls. In order for them to be made and live beyond their initial release, there needs to be additional DLC that you can sell and get people back in the door. And I'm all for it. Again, this is a business, folks. Like Everborn always says, it's not show friends, it's show business. So there you go. So I don't mind spending the $30. It is not a problem at all. I'm looking forward to this. When I can pre-order it, I'm going to immediately pre-order it. I don't know if you can do it now. But Korkenstein, let's talk about Shattered Space, because again, we're not even a year removed from Starfield's initial launch. That happens, the 1 year anniversary happens in September of this year, and they have done so much work to this game. It's unbelievable how much this game has been updated, and now we're getting this massive fear level game. Who doesn't want a new freaking Fear? Well, you know what? I do. But when you start getting comparisons to Fear, and now you're talking about that Fear, that peanut butter is going to be in my chocolate, which is Starfield. Yes, please. I'll take it. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, I've had Starfield installed on my PC since day one, and it hasn't left. Haven't uninstalled. I play it every now and then, jump in and out of it. Yeah, I honestly can't wait. There's so much that, it's just only Bethesda can really do. And just make, the modders, the content. Like during E3, Cognito sent me a video of the Mandalorian mod. It looks absolutely amazing. Just really cool stuff. And I just can't wait to get my hands on Shattered Space and jump back in, just like Fuzzy was saying, for a game that got hit, with a 7 out of 10, and got, ran through the mud a bit, people are still using it to SEO scrape, and get the engagements. You'll see the same people that dog it will also be like, well, here's a guide on how to do this. They're still posting about Starfield, and that just shows how absolutely amazing a game it really is. And it's only going to get better from here. I mean, look at people are still playing Skyrim. Just like you said, 10 years from now, there's going to be so many mods. People are still going to be playing. It's honestly gorgeous. The lighting update that they did earlier in the year looks great on it. Just everything about it. I haven't been able to try the new vehicles yet. But I'm hoping once I finish Outlaws, I'll jump into Starfield, do another playthrough. and then get ready for Shattered Space. But I honestly can't wait. It was probably one of my favorite games that came out so far. Definitely in my top 5 for last year and this year. So yeah, I'm excited, really excited for it.